Shalom family, was good, was good, was good. Coming through with another video. For those who might watch this video later, this is a live stream. Hopefully we can get a successful live stream this time. Uninterrupted live stream, I should say. I'm gonna give YouTube its time to load in the notifications. Let's give YouTube some time here. I know some people tuned into yesterday's live stream that never made it to the surface though. It had some issues. Shalom, I'm gonna give YouTube some time. I think I'm gonna play one of those new breed throwback joints. Yeah. What's good, family? What's good? We're about to analyze some current events and how it's affecting society right now and where it's going, where it's headed. We're just going to analyze some things that's taking place on mainstream media and really break some things down. Throw them throwbacks in the playlist. True that. That's what's up. I'm glad you made it here, family. Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. Throw one of them. I'm gonna throw one of them throwbacks on there. Oh man, it's a throwback right here. If you coming in this live stream, hit thumbs up. 27 people in here, man. Y'all show some love, man. So we can get those notifications out. Greetings. Most definitely, most definitely. Throwback.
Introspective, obsolete, leader message, disinfections, some of the masses, my book of classics, people they self I wrote it on, Judah. I never fall, standing tall, this is war, Judah. Original man, you came from me, so we all niggas. The clock ticking, moving swiftly from these grave digits, all above the truth, they place a target on my back, G. As a young teen, they had me dipping through the back streets. I ain't playing this time. I thought I told him. You'll get my testimony raw and uncut, killing everything I get on. A new breed to the world over. Hey, hey, truly over the top. High elevation with this one. Lord knows I've been through hell and back twice. Trying to shine light and turn my wrongs into rights. I see brothers Paul paid the ultimate price. Youngest grinding all day off the dirtiest price. Taking chances for the loot in the city of shooters. Ruger to your medulla. If your ass get caught slipping, a shiesty bitch, a kilo and another big pillow talking get you lost in the system. White chalk or asphalt from a single thought. Have you ever seen a corpse? Ever seen a corpse? The world is cold. Here's the hands of the dead bodies. I wanna live.
That's that throwback right there, man. Hey, listen, ladies and gentlemen. These rappers are straight up fugazi. They soft, they're fraudulent, they're poisonous, they all of it. And right now in the news, you got all these rappers using a new Instagram filter that's turning them into women, right? It's the most degrading feminization that I've ever seen in pop culture. It's absolutely humiliating to our culture. It's humiliating to hip hop, and it's disgraceful. It's disgraceful, distasteful, and all of the above. And honestly, I can't believe where we headed in this system, where this is deemed acceptable. The mainstream music as we know it, it needs to be toppled. We need to start supporting artists who are speaking the truth, ladies and gentlemen. It's not enough that we talk about what's going on with the rap music if we're not going to support the real. If we're not gonna show, because we have the power, ladies and gentlemen. We have the power. Record labels do not need, we do not need, we do not need record labels. We do not need record labels. They need us. So the power is in the people, ladies and gentlemen. The music that you support, the music that you continue to push is what they have to respect. The feminization of society is taking place on a wide scale right now, ladies and gentlemen. The homosexual agenda, it is aimed and geared towards the children. And some people look at this little Snapchat filter, or was it an Instagram filter? They look at it as something like minute. They look at it as something innocent and playful. Bruh, your favorite rappers are posting themselves as females, man. They're already wearing women's clothes. They're promoting the drug use, and now they flat out showing themselves as women. It says the Snapchat filter allows them to be what they want to be. People feed into it. That's why it's still happening. Absolutely. Cause I'm gonna be straight up with y'all. A lot of people enjoy fuckery, and that's just flat out. A lot of people enjoy the fuckery. It's like everybody need their daily dose of ratchetness, man, to get by. And it's like, when are we gonna unplug? When are we gonna unplug from the garbage, man, and support the real? Support real music. Support real people. You know what I'm saying? That's just one current event that I came across recently. Now I ain't gonna even lie to y'all, man. A lot of the times I'm not even caught up in what's going on in this world like that. I'm operating, I'm working, I'm on my own frequency, I'm doing things, I'm making my moves, I'm building. And y'all gotta kind of moderate some of the things and give me some things to speak about in this live chat, because a lot of things that's going on in this world I try to stay away from, but I can always address it from a Hebraic standpoint and give my take on it. Have you seen the show The Good Omens? No, I haven't seen that one. I've been watching this show called The Society. It's called The Society, that comes on Netflix, and it's about some youngins who pretty much are left stranded in a town where the town is pretty much cut off. All communication is cut off to the town, and it's a bunch of teenagers. and they pretty much running out of food and all of that kind of stuff. And nobody in the show actually comes up with the idea of gardening, planting food, planting vegetation. None of that. And that's just stood out to me in the show because in any kind of emergency situation, post-apocalyptic situation, or military situation, where it's like they have trained us as a society not to rely on nature, not to rely on the earth to survive, not to learn how to pot and plant. I don't see people making gardens no more. None of that. It's like if the food trucks stop coming, that's it. You know what I'm saying? And that's just based on how people think. That's based on how people think. If the food trucks stop coming to grocery stores, people gonna starve to death, flat out. Cause nobody has a green thumb anymore. Nobody's reading up on how to plant. Nobody's reading up on how to survive in the wilderness, and that's just something that we need to look into. The Good Omens. I'm gonna check that out. Good day, family. What's up? Yeah, The Good Omens. I saw the advertising on Netflix. It seems very demonic. It's talking about the Antichrist. Yep. Alyssa says there's so many amazing underground rappers who spread the truth yet are unheard of. Wonder why that is. They do everything they can to prevent the spread of knowledge. Yep. Excuse me. They rather have you listening to the garbage. When I turn on the radio, all I hear is pretty much like ratchet, musty thought radio. That's all I hear. Like it's unbearable. It's unbearable, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. You got the CERN program firing on all cylinders. What's good, family? You got the 5G network. You got FEMA, GMO, food, poisonous music. But the righteous still stand tall, man. We can still decipher this stuff, man. We can still break it down. Yep. That's a great point right there, Alyssa. They make it so hard to be self-sufficient nowadays. Postmates, Uber Eats give you the option to order food right away. Why makes anything for yourself when it is right at your fingertips? Absolutely. See, it's a reason for that. That's a whole culmination of leaving you unself-reliant. It's like it's making it so we become lazy, we become stagnant, and we're not able to even do for ourselves. And then that's why the system, the powers that be, look at us and refer to us as useless eaters. As useless eaters. Yeah, I mean, you got to look at how this system is operating and how everything is maneuvering. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, people don't hunt, don't fish no more, none of that. It's a lot of separation, division, because people don't even want to deal with each other face to face anymore. It's more so like everything is online, everything is text message. I mean, damn, we can't even pick up the phone and call each other and have a legit conversation. You know what I'm saying? Through text messaging, you're not even getting the emotion behind what's being said. The time is now for us to really become more self-sufficient, rely on what we have, which is our mind, body, and soul. That's the only thing that you have in this world. And we need to be relying on survival, focusing on ourselves, and not focus on keep continually building their kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Barbara West says, I am skeptical of them bringing me goods to my house. Hey man, those Uber Eats people, man, 9 times out of 10 they digging through your fries, they eating your onion rings, they eating 2 or 3 chicken nuggets, man. Lord knows they probably sick. They in there coughing, sneezing all over your bag. It just it just ain't right. You know what I mean? It just ain't right. You know what I mean? Yeah, they could do whatever they want. It is a such thing called Morgellons, ladies and gentlemen. It's a such thing called Morgellons. And this is something that happens with a lot of fast food chains. It's a parasite that ends up in the food that can actually control the way your limbs function. And I mean, it's people on YouTube who have testimonies of them having Morgellons removed from their body based on fasting. And these things are very real, man. These are they have parasitical creatures that can go into your body. Yeah, they're made by the government. Most of the time, these things are made by pretty much by government. Yeah, check it out. Check out Morgellons. It's gonna trip you out. Yeah, they could give you that super bug, man. And it's not easy because when you turn on your TV, everything is about feeding your flesh. Come here, eat there. We got 20 pieces of fried chicken for $5.99. Come here, come there. You know what I mean? And it's not easy. It's not easy to suppress those urges. But we living in a time where we gotta rely on fasting, prayer, exercise, feeding your spirit. What you put in is what you get out. Absolutely, they're cloning the foods. Yep, Nathan Ashford, you're right. Nathan Ashford says we should fear nothing on earth. We should only fear the Most High. Fear is the biggest problem on earth. Absolutely. Now, when we speak on these particular topics, we're not to fear anything, but we ought to be aware because remember Hosea chapter 4 verse 6 says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. So you are to be knowledgeable of what takes place in this system so you don't be destroyed. Because if you go to a doctor and they inject you with something and you don't know what it is, it can have adverse effects on your body and it can ultimately destroy you. So in these videos, we like to promote knowledge of what's taking place in society, opposed to promoting fear, because we don't fear anything. But the things that's taking place in this world with the homosexual agenda, the feminization of black men in particular, the rise of the feminist, the empowering of the musty thoughts, the ratchet hood rat rappers. It's a big empowering agenda going on. Trust and believe. You can see the direction that society is beginning to steer. And every brother, every man, especially a man of color who speaks against any of this, any man of color that speaks against this is automatically labeled. as an angry black man. Automatically, angry black man. The rise of witchcraft is on an all-time high. And don't get it twisted. I'm not demonizing black women at all because they're not going to promote the good black women, just like they're not going to promote good black men. It's a huge picture of what's taking place. I'm a bigger picture thinker. I'm not thinking of simple toils between black men and black women. That's a distraction, in my opinion. That's to create more division and separation. As you all know, this is a pro-life channel. I want to bring us together ultimately. But keep in mind that for every wicked black man, there's a wicked black woman. For every wicked black woman, same vice versa. But what I'm speaking about is they're going to promote the wicked women opposed to the righteous women. There are women that are out here keeping their eyes open and their legs closed, who are going to school, getting educations, finding husbands, doing their thing, taking care of households. Do you think that the system is really going to promote them? So they're going to give you your Cardi B's. They're going to give you your Nicki Minaj. They're going to give you all of that to basically steer the next generation in the wrong direction. So they're no mothers. These women are not apt to be mothers. And there's a rise in witchcraft. There's a rise in witchcraft and sorcery. The powers that be, they are operating on a carnal level very frequently. They're using magic, sorcery, spells, and they're casting all of this on the elect and the elite. And the only thing we can do is stay strong, vigilant, and build our armor up. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. See, the plot gets a lot thicker than we believe on the surface. Scott Free says even the cartoons are more sexualized. Yeah. A lot of their movies, a lot of their programming is promoting witchcraft, sorcery. Like, ladies and gentlemen, the way that these things work, the way that these spiritual inhabitants, the way that these demons, the way that they operate and move is that you legit have to open up a gate. You have to open a doorway for them to allow them in your area. As long as you keep those doorways closed and you are not entertaining these spirits, you ain't got nothing to worry about. But be aware that there's people out there doing these things. If you're in this live stream, make sure you hit that thumbs up. We want to get the notifications out. So let me go to some current events while y'all get those notifications up. And we're going to the New York Times first. We're going to the New York Times first, all right? And listen, everything that I'm about to read in the New York Times right now, we got to decipher some of this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Because this is deep. This is deep. This shows just how much mankind plays a role on what happens in the earth, in the atmosphere of the earth, and what happens in society as a whole. All right. Now, the name of this article in the New York Times is called "Humans Are Transforming Earth's Natural Landscape." Humans are transforming Earth's natural landscape. Now, let me first start off by preferencing this, right? Now, anytime the elect are not on the right path, right? Anytime the righteous or the Most High's chosen people are operating on a low level, it knocks the whole earth out of course. There's no order. There's no divine truth. And I'm talking about it knocks the whole world out of course. We got to think on a high level with this one, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about mentally, physically, spiritually, everything around us is knocked off course when the elect are not living right. Right now, you got brothers and sisters who are supposed to be teaching the Most High's people, who they out at bike week, walking around with thongs up their ass, panties and drawers on. You got brothers out there whoremongering, you know what I'm saying, for Memorial Weekend and whatnot. And instead of actually seeing what's taking place in this society and actually getting ready for what's about to hit the fan. The earth and the world is changing, and it's of biblical proportion, ladies and gentlemen. It's a biblical proportion. Humans are transforming Earth's natural landscape so dramatically that as many as 1 million plant and animal species are now at risk of extinction, posing a dire threat to ecosystems that people all over the world depend on for their survival. A sweeping new United Nations assessment has concluded. Check that out. Now, this is from the United Nations. Now, for those brothers and sisters in the truth, you may understand that the United Nations is the United Confederate that the Bible speaks of that came against us. When the scripture says they will be a confederate against thee, right? So those same people who is a confederate against thee are the same ones reporting that, hey, hold up, check this out. The same people who was a confederate against thee, the UN, the United Nations, the ones who united together to conspire against you, are the same ones telling us that the earth is in such bad shape that everything is dying off that can mean our survival. Now remember, the scriptures also tell us, listen, if he don't come back and shorten the time up, that everything gonna be destroyed on this earth. We are living in the times of Noah. We are living in the last days, ladies and gentlemen. The 1,500-page report, compiled by hundreds of international experts and based on thousands of scientific studies, is the most exhaustive look yet at the decline in biodiversity across the globe and the dangers that create human civilization. A summary of its findings, which is approved by representatives from the United States and 131 other countries, was released Monday. In parts, the full report is set to be published this year. We're talking about the whole world is in calamity and decay. We are at risk of losing our survival based on the fact, because they're gonna tell you what's happening. Then we're gonna mirror that. We're gonna go to the Bible, right? And I'm gonna show you that this particular article in the New York Times has a reason behind it. It has a biblical reason why this is happening. And we're gonna examine that from a biblical standpoint. So we're going to look at current events, and this is just one current event we're going to break down. We're going to build today, ladies and gentlemen. This is just one current event. But we're going to look at it from the Bible's aspect of why this is happening. Let's continue. Let me read another paragraph of this article. And y'all bear with me. In conclusion, our stark and most major land habitats, from the savannas of Africa to the rainforests of South America, the average abundance of natural plant and animal life has fallen by 20% or more, mainly over the past century, with the human population passing 7 billion. Activities like farming, logging, poaching, fishing, and mining are altering the natural world at a rate unexpected in human history. Unexpected in human history. So, while we're being distracted, while the world is not only suffering moral decay, as the love of many is waxing cold, the world is also facing physical decay. Right? You got to look at the whole planet like a body, right? This body is literally mentally, physically, and spiritually decayed. And we're going to explain why. We're going to explain why. Of course, we know that the powers that be are doing things to the world, like chemtrails. We know that they're spreading Monsanto seeds among the farmland. We know all of these things, right? But it's something more to it, because the Most High can protect this world. He can stop these things from happening. Only if his elect and his people are operating correctly. We're going to go to some scriptures. All right, so we're going to go to Matthew chapter 24, all right? We're going to Matthew chapter 24, and we're going to use the King James Version, and it reads, "And expect those days should be shortened. There should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened." So if we continue on this path, right? If the Most High didn't shorten these days that we live in, for the elect's sake, no flesh would make it through what's about to happen to this world. Nobody would make it. Not one of us would make it. That's how bad it's getting, ladies and gentlemen. That's how bad it's getting. That's how bad. I'm going to read that scripture again. "And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened." So that means the Messiah is going to come back. He's going to come back at an unexpected time before this whole world is destroyed. So we're going to see in the next years to come, we're going to see things get real dramatic. Things are going to get real dramatic. The rise of sickness, the rise of demonic possession. We're talking about the rise of, listen, ladies and gentlemen, everything that you think is science fiction is real. The truth is stranger than fiction, ladies and gentlemen. There are people who drink blood. There are vampires out there. There are witches out there. There are sorcerers out there. Cross. Do your research of who's over the Red Cross, and you'll find out that it's the Rothschilds. That it's a family of vampires who drink blood. And they're going through the Red Cross. Never donate your blood to the Red Cross. Never donate blood to the Red Cross. There are people over the Red Cross who are millionaires, who have mansion parties, and they're walking around with wine glasses with blood in them, drinking it like it's wine. There are people who drink blood. There are people who are straight up demons in this world, ladies and gentlemen. Don't ever donate. Don't even be organ donors. There are people out here who kill just to have your organs harvested. Especially if you're a targeted individual. If you a TI, never be an organ donor. When it's time to renew your driver's license or any of that stuff, don't be an organ donor. They putting the truth right in your face. These things are happening on a vast scale, ladies and gentlemen. On a vast scale. Let's go back to the article. So now we know that if the days wouldn't be shortened, for the elect's sake, right? If these days wouldn't be shortened, everybody would be destroyed. No flesh would be left, right? So now we know that guess what? If the elect don't stay in their position, right? If the elect are not being the elect, then what's stopping all hell from breaking loose? What's stopping all calamity to hit us all? If the ones that the Most High chose are not doing the work, not speaking the truth, not attempting to wake up the people, not speaking the facts, not putting it out there, then what's stopping everything from being completely destroyed where there's no flesh left? Now let's go back to the article. Because every paragraph, every couple paragraphs in this article going to be broke down biblically. And we back in the New York Times article. Now it's talking about global warming, which I think is a bunch of bullshit. So I'm just gonna skip over the global warming part. All right, so we're gonna go to the next paragraph. All right. The reports is not the first to paint a grim portrait of Earth's ecosystems, but it goes further by detailing how closely human well-being is intertwined with the late of the species. For as long time, people just thought of biodiversity, excuse me, as saving nature for its own sake. So basically, the people, the fools, the ignorant fools who control the world thought for a long time that them saving nature is for nature's sake. Check that out. We live off nature. We need nature to survive. But they thought taking care of nature is for nature's sake. Truly, the Bible is correct when it says we will be oppressed by a foolish nation. That's absolutely foolish, ladies and gentlemen. When the Bible tells you that every fruit and plant yielding seed is medicine in the earth. That's when man tries to play God. Man tries to play God and makes his own medicine, his own satanic potions that have side effects, right? So he doesn't take care. In his mind, him taking care of the earth is for nature's sake, opposed to it being for our sake, for our survival, right? So this is the foolishness and the ignorance that is taught amongst scientists for years. They thought they was trying to protect nature for nature's sake and not for our sake. But as the nature landscapes withers and becomes less biologically rich, the services they can provide to humans have been dwindling. Humans are producing more food than ever. But land denigration is already harming agricultural productivity on 23% of the planet's land area. The new report said the decline of wild bees and other insects that help pollinate fruits and vegetables is putting to 577 billion in annual crop production at risk. The loss of mangrove forests and coral reefs along coasts could expose up to 300 million people to increasing risk of flooding. So check this out. They're knocking everything out of course. Everything. Everything is completely knocked out of course. And check this out. Here's the crazy part. The Bible gives you an in-depth way of planting and making sure that your crops are reliable. Now, if this country was truly built on fundamental Christian values, they will be following the biblical way of growing fruits, plants, vegetables, crops, the whole nine. But they not. And yeah, the bees not a big effect as well. So that's crazy, ladies and gentlemen, that everything that they decided to do is knocking us out of course. But if the righteous was leading, imagine where the world would be. Imagine a world where we're doing everything according to how the Bible intended it to be done. Imagine that. The author notes that the devastation of nature has become so severe that the piecemeal efforts to protect individual species or to set up wildlife refuges will no longer be sufficient. Instead, they call for transformative changes. This includes curbing wasteful consumption, slimming down agricultural environment footprints, and cracking down on illegal logging and fishing. So check this out. They made it so logging and fishing is the problem. Let me show you how ignorant and idiotic these people are. So here's their solution. Instead of going to natural agricultural solutions, they decided that what they're going to do is they're going to curve and they're going to have transformative changes. Transformative changes. So they decided that they're going to do more science. I'm telling you, they're not learning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go to the scriptures. It says we're being oppressed by a foolish nation. They're not learning. So we're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 21, right? KJV. They have moved me to jealousy, which that is not of the Most High. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy, which those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. So we're provoked to anger by this. We're being oppressed by a foolish nation, ladies and gentlemen. They're foolish. They think the answer for the world's problems is more science. The science is the problem. So I broke down that particular chapter. We're talking about current events right now. There was an article from the New York Times to basically show that the world that we living in is completely knocked out of course. We in physical, mental, spiritual decay. And the world as a whole, the plants, the vegetation, life as we know it is being pretty much destroyed and utterly obliterated based on the Most High's people not being in the right place, not being the leaders of this world. We're watching a foolish nation continue to destroy nature, continue to destroy this world as a whole. So the other thing we spoke about, just to do a recap for those who are just joining the live stream, the other thing we spoke about was the new Instagram or Snapchat filter, the app filter that allows men to actually post themselves up as women. We talked about how that is completely feminizing hip hop, the culture, and all of the above. And any rapper who gets online and makes himself a woman online is a flaming homosexual. Any man who using that app, you have homosexual tendencies and you need to get yourself together, man. Any man who's using that app, because a lot of people think it's all play and folly and it's all a game, it's just a joke. That's gay, man. Get it together, man. That's just disgraceful for a man to be posting himself up, seeing what he would look like as a woman, giving into this feminine culture. And a lot of brothers don't even recognize how that keeps a lot of sisters lost, because you're promoting, what you're doing is you're pandering to women. You're empowering them. You should be wanting to be the strongest man you can be in these times that we living in. Give me one more. But that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go to some more. Let's see what's going on in more current events. If y'all have any suggestions of current events y'all want to talk about, make sure you put them in the live feed, because we want this as interactive as possible. Absolutely never agree to organ donation. That's something else we spoke of. Never donate your blood to the Red Cross unless you want the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and mansion parties drinking your blood, sacrificing children. And if you want to promote that, then go ahead. Y'all never took the second to think that they bring the Red Cross trucks through. What the hell are they doing? What the hell are they doing with all this blood? You can't tell me that many people just happen to need some blood. Vampires, bloodsuckers, leeches. Let's go into some more Babylon. New York is like baby Babylon. Lady Liberty standing tall and everything. The New York Times tends to have the most, I would say, provocative news and eye-opening news. So I refer to it a lot, and I break it down from a Hebraic standpoint, because a lot of things happen in New York. We're going to talk about another article in the New York Times, and it's called "The Day Christian Fundamentalism Was Born." The day Christian fundamentalism was born. So we're going to break down some things about Christianity, how the Christian fundamentalist was born. One moment. And this article is quite interesting. What do I think about baptism? I think baptism is needed. I think baptism is needed. I think we should go to the water. That's the ultimate sign of humility, that you are with sin. It wasn't until Christ was actually baptized when the Most High looked down and said, "You are my son in whom I'm well pleased." It's just the ultimate sign of humility. You going to that water, being dipped in that water, showing the Most High, look, I got time to do all of this other stuff in life. I got time to go down and be dipped in this water and submerged. And the thing about it is, if I see people debating on baptism a lot, what's the harm of being dipped in the water if it's biblical? I mean, it's when you're dealing with judgment and righteousness, you rather do something than don't do it. You rather be caught with it than without it, right? On the day of judgment, you rather have that on your resume than without it on your resume, if it's biblical, right? That's the standpoint I look at it from. But when you go to that water, you got to be ready. I haven't even, you know, I'm still need to go to the water. This summer I'm going to the water because you got to be ready to go to that water. You got to be ready. Shalom. Spiritual combat in the house. What it do, family? Shalom, Ak. All right, so this next article we go into is "The Day Christian Fundamentalism Was Born." All right. It keeps trying to make me start a New York Times account. Give me one moment. For many Americans, it was thrilling to be alive. One moment. Okay. All right, so New York Times, they want my subscription. I didn't realize it was time to pay up. Render to what Caesar's what it Caesar's. You got to pay for the news, ladies and gentlemen. So that's just the times we live in. You got to pay for the news. One moment. So we're going to break down some of the free news right now. We're going to spend a little bit of time. We're going to break down some of the things that's taking place on a lower level. We've already tackled the major things of what's happening in this world. So we're gonna approach some of the things that's happening daily, or some of the things that most people are seeing taking place right now. You got Instagram ads, alternate stories, color notifiers for Pride Month. So you got a bunch of Instagram rainbow colors popping up. And y'all know what that's about. That's about the Solomon and Gomorrah culture. Let's see, we got Snapchat is about to, they're working on new music rights, deals to enable users to add songs to their snaps. Facebook provides new details on the prevalence of fake accounts on its platform. We know what Facebook fake accounts is about. They agents and hackers. We know that. Cyber gang stalkers, NSA. Instagram adds support for landscape videos and IGTV. I like to see what's going on with the cyber strategies they're using. Facebook will cease paying commissions to employees for selling political ads. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't realize that we coming off on the hour mark. For the last 30 minutes, we normally do Q&A. Last 15, 20 minutes. So actually it is the Q&A portion of the video. If you guys got any questions regarding this particular topic that we had today, or you got any questions regarding anything, make sure you fire away, or make sure it's questions, ladies and gentlemen, not comments, or the live stream will end early. And for those who are in here who gain any type of understanding, knowledge, make sure you hit that thumbs up, because that'll help people get some Q&A in. Let them in the live and get Q&A. Do you meditate? Yes, I meditate on the Most High's word. I meditate according to how the Bible tells us to meditate. How do you have a job and still serve the Lord? Um, you just balance, brother. It's all balance. Trust and believe is not easy. You gotta you gotta have your priorities correct. You gotta have your priorities correct. And you gotta keep in mind, the Messiah worked. Remember the Bible says, if you don't work, a man don't eat. The Messiah himself was a carpenter. You just gotta really have your priorities first. You gotta put the Most High's word before anything. A job can come and go. The Most High is the one who gave you the job. And you gotta keep that in mind. How necessary is it for us to be so caught up in worldly news? Shouldn't our focus just be living in the life of honor of the Most High? How necessary? You need to know what times you're living in. Hosea chapter 4, verse 6 says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. If you don't know what's going on in world news, on the landscape that you live on, if you don't know what's happening in the world, remember the Bible says the devil is like a roaring lion seeking who he may devour. If you don't know what's happening, then how are you going to know when that roaring lion has come to destroy, bro? So yeah, we focus on ourselves, but as people, you can be open-minded enough to see what's taking place in the world. And also, if you don't know what's going on in the world, how can you even approach others with truth if you don't even know what's going on? See, we ought to be fishermen of men. A lot of times we get into this selfish mind state of who we should be. Yes, we're focusing on our own soul salvation because that's all we have. But we want to attempt to save as many brothers and sisters as possible. When I mentioned Good Omens, you mentioned a movie you watched. What was the name of it? No, it's a series I was watching called The Society. It's on Netflix. It's called The Society. Do you address homosexuality in the workplace? I have no need to. I have no need to address homosexuality in the workplace. I work in a gun warehouse, and I don't know if it's not even. I'm not even sure if there's any homosexuals that work in our warehouse. And even if it was, I mean, you know the scriptures tell you to be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. I'm not just gonna I'm not gonna just speak about homosexuality at work. It's no place. I mean, it's not a place for that. So you just gotta be wise. Have you ever smoked weed some point in your life? Yes, I have a video on my channel called Why I Stopped Smoking Weed. And it goes into detail. I actually have a detailed story of why I stopped smoking weed. So just go through the videos and check it out. How do you go about baptism? I don't mean to be off topic. It is just really important to me. Um, well, you go to the water. You have, and I mean, and to be honest with you, and the Bible says, when two are gathered in my name, I'm in the midst. If you can have somebody who share your belief system, they can take you to the water. They can submerge you. You can go to a beach. You can go wherever you need to go. I'm sure the Most High is not going to take the relevance of where you're baptized at. As long as you coming in and it's two of y'all gathered in the same spirit and you doing it before the Most High's eyes, then that's how you go about it. It's just a sign of humility that you know you want the Most High to know that you want to be clean and pure for judgment. Can we have more set time to meet up for lives and do you need moderators? Yeah, I mean, I wish I can have a set time, but with juggling family life and work, it's not easy for me to have a scheduled time. But as far as moderators go, I'm not sure how to go about that. I mean, I heard people recommend moderators before. If you just tell me how to do so and we can make it happen. Are there any more questions, ladies and gentlemen? Go under community on your account. Okay, I'll do that. There's a YouTube creators platform you can assign moderators. What is your opinion on Catholic? Catholic is it's a harlot. The Catholic Church is a harlot. You know what happens in the Catholic Church: pedophilia, idolatry. It's completely satanic. That's not even an opinion. If someone gets sanctified, do they go to hell if they don't worship the devil? Like Megan the Stallion, she sacrificed her mom and grandmother. Do they go to hell since they were sacrificed? The Most High is the ultimate judge. I'm not to say who goes to heaven or hell. The Most High judges based on a person's a person's works, and that's completely his that's